Welcome to this, what is effectively a second episode in the new series Get the App, in which I'm going to look at these, what are often like cliche sayings, and how they can be applied to your daily life. So I thought we'll follow the pattern that we really ought to follow with everything, and that is check the sources. So I thought we'd examine Get the App and see what comes from that. So we'll run with the premise of the Carl Orff saying, let's start again. Tell me I forget, show me I remember, involve me I understand. So I invite you to actually get a piece of paper and a pen and just go through these sort of things for yourself. If we follow the pattern that is shown with science, it's about investigation, going in further, looking at smaller and smaller things. It's reflected in, certainly with religious texts, where every word in a passage or verse is sort of analysed in great detail. So we're following that pattern in that we're going to look at the phrase get the app and see what we get from that. Funny how get the app and we'll see what we get from that. So let me just show you. Hopefully this will show up. So get the app. We can keep it the piece of paper still. So let's look at the letter G. It's very much like the letter C, but then it has this little T on the end of it. That is followed by ET. It's self-referencing because it's the energy of higher self. Now the higher self, the T, it's like when you see that your higher self is tied to the earth, G representing Gaia, the old name for earth as well. And then, we've lost a bit of paper here. That slipped. So let's look at the next word. So you've got the T, which is the I at highest level. The E of energy. Between that is the H, which is human. It's a sort of schematic of when one cell splits into two and you have the bridge, which gives you this connection in the middle. So the higher self energy requires the human elements for the experience. You'll notice also with the letter E, it is like an I. You have three ways of going from that. You can take the upper level, the lower level, or you can take the middle path, which is generally shorter. Now piece of paper or notepad has slipped again. So that leaves us with app. Well, the A is the first, so it's referring to the alpha, the source, followed by the letter P. Again, it's like an I. It's got a circle which is to the right. It's referencing effectively the ascension and then going over to the right hemisphere of the brain. And it's shown twice in a word like app because we're in a realm of duality. So let's just look at the letter G in its lowercase as well. Now here you'll see you have a circle, which is like the organic. And it's got a tail or a hook, because it is pulled you down into this earthly experience. Now on old typewriters you will also find the G expressed in something that's very reminiscent of like a serpent and the number 8. Generally it has a little stalk on this upper circle, and then it's connected to what seems to be a larger, almost like an oval shape. I thought that was interesting to see that. This world is very much a reflection, so you'll hear the expression, download the app. Download, if you consider as a physical action, say you've got heavy baggage, you download when you let go. So the download is as much about the incoming, that sort of spark that comes to you, an idea, for example. So it's a download in that sense, but it's also through what we learn from the experience, it comes back to that letting go. So you download, and then the word app again, which I've just explained. Now the app, it's short for apply or application. So the expression would be when we apply ourselves to something, but it could also be said, but wait a minute, there is the word lie. But if you follow the sequence, what you actually have is app and then ly. Yes, you can see it as it's a lie, but when something is a lie, we need to sort of go back one step further, as it were, because that lie will be based on a truth. The basis of any lie, there has to be a truth to it for there to be a lie. You cannot build a lie up on a lie as its basis. It has to start with an element of truth. So this is why in this reality, whatever you look at, whatever story you are given, there will always be an element of truth in it, because that is the lure that draws people into such things as religions. Something sounds right, it seems right, oh, I'll run with that, but I won't check out any further, I'll just have blind faith. There's the trap. But if we take the word apply, you've got the app, then the L, which is basically the human physical body, as I've explained before. The L is like the lower part of the leg, the calf and the foot, which then leads to the Y. So when you have the app in a human form, it leads to finding out why. And you can go one of two ways with it. It's also an abbreviation of application. So in this you have APP, then LI. You have the lie being shown there. But if you see at, I, on, referencing your mind's eye or your sixth chakra, it's an application. All these TION ending words have this sequence of higher self, I, and it's on. You'll hear the expression about plying your trade. That has many sort of meanings, but we are plying or we are applying ourself, as it were, when we apply. We add the alpha and the first P, which just to go over that again, it's the I, and it's looking to the right hemisphere. It's looking to the subconscious. Also, what I found interesting, if you spell apply not ending in a Y, but ending in IE, for example, that's the I and the energy. It's very similar. If we take I out of it, it becomes apple. So you have that expression, the apple in the eye. The apple actually represents, because of its shape, the torus field. It even has that sort of core, which is like an hourglass within it as well. So hopefully that has, as much as anything else, it's given you a way to look at these words. So just to recap, get, as in get the app, it's the earthly tie. You see the higher self is in an earthly form, but its self-referencing is in that the G is followed by ET, which you can take as being extraterrestrial, because as part of knowing oneself is knowing that whilst we have a physical body, which is part of this physical reality, that is not us. That is just the vehicle that we're here in to have the experience. So get the app. I'm going to carry on this series. I feel a good one to look at is Imagination Creates Reality. So I'll come on to that in the next video in this series, but I thought before we do that, we would just go over what get the app means, or how I interpret it, and download the app, because you'll see this theme externally. It's very much in the moment, in this present time. So hopefully that has made sense, or given you a new way to actually look at these phrases, look at the individual letters and what they actually reveal. I assert that the characters of the alphabet are just basically shorthand illustrations, a bit like glyphs. Excuse me. You'll also see an emerging language that is coming about, where it is almost going back to the hieroglyphics, and you can almost write out a sentence just using emojis. But of course that is also open to cheapening and devaluing. Think of that, how many times you can use the heart or the love to a post. It sort of pulls it far away from the meaning of love. But at the same time, if you use the love or heart emoji, it is also revealing intent. When you say, or you respond by clicking love to say a Facebook post or TikTok or whatever, it's saying that you're in agreement with it, but at a deeper level, it's saying that your heart's on the same frequency. On a final note, if you haven't seen it, it was just purely perfect timing. I just finished watching a video, and then I saw a notification had come through. No, it was on the home page. Dr. Dani, physician. Music of the Spheres is the title, and I would thoroughly recommend watching that. It's sort of right up my street, as it were. It's because it's about music in relation to the zodiac, to astrology. What else that comes out of that is absolutely beautiful. I asked the question in the live, where does a fucus sit? I left myself wide open to fear and ridicule, possibly in thoughts from others, even if not put in the comments. Are you thick or something? Don't you know that? No, I wasn't entirely sure. And how do we learn if we don't ask questions? But what I sort of take from this, if we go with the zodiac as starting with Aries, where a fucus sits, which seems to sort of be blurred between sort of Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius, you've got a half and half of the 12 zodiac signs. So that is also reflecting that we're in a realm of duality, because you have 6 before and 6 after to come back to Aries again. Just my sort of interpretation on things, but I thoroughly recommend watching that video. I shall be starting a playlist, not on this channel, and just as a little reminder, there is a second channel that I created called, well, it's currently called Bruckner200, to do with the 200th anniversary of the birth of Anton Bruckner in 1824. So 2024 was a big celebration year for that. I shall probably leave that for the time being, but it's Bruckner200 WAB-ART Productions, which you can take as two ways. You could take that as Wagner and Bruckner, or the thematic catalogue of Bruckner's works. But it is far more than just Wagner and Bruckner. It is more I suppose the best way to describe it, it's the development and the sort of life of the Germanic symphony. So you'll find Beethoven, you'll find Haydn, and various other composers in there. You'll find multiple conductors of the same symphonies and things, because they all bring out something different. There's no right or wrong to any of it. It's just what resonates with you. But certainly different conductors will bring out different flavors, different things in the music. You'll hear things in different ways, so you get a far greater perspective of the music. And then think of the everyday sayings. Does that ring any bells? Did that strike a chord? Do you like the tone? Look how the words associated with music are used in everyday language in a slightly different way, but also not, because if you say something that does strike a chord, that's basically your gut feeling is sort of giving you a sensation. You may want to look further into and explore further into these things. So get the app. That's the little video on that. And we'll carry on with Imagination Creates Reality and give you practical examples from personal testimony on that one. Excuse me. So yeah, that all that leaves me to say is do check out the description. I'll put the links to the Dr. Dani Music of the Spheres video and another video that she shows in that, which is worth looking at as well. There's a lot to be gleaned from all of these things. So yeah, that's it for this video. So I'm going to say unconditional love to you all.